Hello, this is the case study for EDL 852, Who Should Create the School's Vision? So a summary of what's going on with the case study. So a new school is being built in a rural community. They already have a grade school and a high school, and the junior high is in with the high school. But because their town is growing, they are choosing to build a new junior high. They've hired a new principal for the junior high, Mrs. Potter, Susan Potter, who comes from a more urban setting. So there are conflicting ideas between the new principal and the vision and planning committee on who should write the vision and mission statements. So who is involved in this case study? Well, first of all, the new principal, Susan Potter, she's involved with it. Susan has created a vision committee to help shape what they want to happen with the new school. And she wants their help with making the vision and mission statements. The chair of the vision committee is Helen Burke. She has been a teacher in the district and is now going to be a teacher at the junior high school. There's three more members of the vision committee, there's 7 more members of the vision committee, 3 more teachers, and then 4 parents. And then Helen Burke, her brother, is a member of the school board for this district. So what didn't happen? The vision and planning committee, which, like I said earlier, includes the principal, the 4 teachers, and the 4 parents. They did not work together to come to an agreement on who should write the vision and mission statements. There was also, in my opinion, a lack of respect from the committee members when they didn't listen to Mrs. Potter on how and why she wanted the whole team to create the vision and mission statements. I felt like they really didn't listen to anything that she had to say. And then the different people in the case study, what were their thoughts? Well, Mrs. Potter, the new principal, she believes that the committee members, all of them, need to work together to create the vision and mission statements, mostly because she is new to the community. She wants to make sure that the community's values are represented within the vision and mission statements. However, the majority of the vision committee, not all of them, but most of them, along with Helen's brother, who again is on the school board, they believe that the principal should be in charge of making the vision and mission statement because they claim that she's the expert, and then after she's created it, they will help her get it approved by the board. And then where and when did these events occur? So this is before the new school has opened. There's a timeline set of about a year for the building of the school before it opens. And it's set in a predominantly rural township, which is the Lightville Community District. All right, so within this case study, who had the capacity to lead? So Helen, who was the chair of the vision committee, she would be able to lead the group as the chair. I believe that had she set a better example, listening to Susan's thoughts on how the process should go and actually hearing what Susan had to say for why, the others in the group might have followed her example or her lead. Helen, when she chose to not listen to the principal, who is the expert in this, made me question her personal values. Susan also had the capacity to lead because she's the principal of the school. And she seems to value the process of making a quality vision and mission statement more than the rest. So who had the knowledge, skills, commitment to lead, design, and implement? So the principal, again, Susan, she had the knowledge and skills to create a successful vision statement. Like, she knows what needs to go in it, and she understands that she needs input from people in the community to make sure that those values are met. But like I said, she lacks the knowledge of the values of the community to make a statement that is uniquely catered to the school's needs and beliefs. The vision committee members, they have the knowledge that Susan is missing. They understand the community, what the community values, and they understand what the community would want to see in the vision statement. The 4 teachers on the committee, they're going to understand the school's data use. They're going to understand the technology use, values, equity, diversity, digital citizenship of the students and how those things are prioritized in the community. And again, knowing those things just helps make the vision and mission statements personalized for this school. And who promoted success? And so I believe here everybody had good intentions. Everybody's going to want the best. But the new principal, members of the vision committee, and Helen's brother, who's a school board member, they all want the best. Susan believes that having everybody's input to create the vision and the mission statements is going to be more successful, while everyone else believes that Susan, the administrator, her making the vision and mission statements would be more successful because they think the town would listen to it better and like own it better. So the plan that they currently have in place, there wasn't any data provided in terms of the students to show what they might need, what might need to be included in the statements. Like we didn't hear about any academic needs that they need, test scores, population data, anything like that. However, the data was used to determine that the town was growing and that with this growth, they did need a new school. Technology in the case study was used for the voters to vote on the new school building. It won by 53% to 47%. Equity in the case study, Mrs. Potter is showing equity because she wants all stakeholders involved in creating the statement. She doesn't want just a couple of groups, but she wants to hear from the community, or she wants to make sure that the members of the vision committee are able to discuss the community's needs. Diversity, the committee consists of staff members and parents. Having more members of stakeholders would have represented more diverse groups. If they could have put a student in there to represent the student population, maybe an older member of the community, because a lot of times when you get in those smaller towns, there's a lot of older members in the community. And then I think a member of the board should be on the group to make sure that all stakeholders are represented. So digital citizenship has not been apparent yet. But it should be worked into the statements. And then for the community, like I said before, Mrs. Potter wants to make sure the community's values and beliefs are fully represented. Okay, so for implementing the plan, so Mrs. Potter had hoped to create the vision and mission statements with the vision committee. However, like I said before, the vision committee refused to do this. So after she creates the statement, she is supposed to review it with the vision committee. At that time, they'll let her know if there's something that they don't like, and then adjustments will be made. And then the committee will help Mrs. Potter get the statements approved by the board. So the evaluation of the plan, really it hasn't been evaluated by the committee. They basically said, no, we don't like your way. You're going to do it this way. I believe that she should have showed the committee evidence on why more stakeholders should be involved in creating the statements as opposed to just one person. So legal or ethical issues, was anybody harmed by the actions? I think Mrs. Potter's authority, excuse me, has been harmed, come into question just because of the fact that the committee came in and they said, well, you're the principal, you're our boss, you have the training and the knowledge. However, we think this other way is better and this is what you're going to do. And then ultimately, the vision and mission statements are going to be harmed if she can't get the committee's help in creating them because they're not going to be uniquely made for the school in the community. Were any laws broken? No. However, the fact that Helen's brother is on the school board kind of seems to be a conflict of interests. It's going to be hard for the members of the committee to listen to what Mrs. Potter's advice is whenever they have a school board member telling them that he wants something different to happen. And then breach of contract. Teachers on the vision committee didn't respect their administrator's opinion or wishes for how the vision and mission statement should be created. I am all for teachers getting to speak up to their administrators and having their opinions heard, but it feels like the teachers didn't listen to the principal's opinions and they didn't hear her out. Instead, the board members stated his opinion, which was ultimately breaking the chain of command, and then this allowed the committee members to discriminate against Mrs. Potter's judgment. So what happened? My one sentence. With the construction of a new school in a rural farming community, the new principal is trying to follow guidelines to create a vision statement unique to the new school. But she is being met with resistance from the committee members that she selected on whether the committee should work together to create the vision and mission statements or if the new principal should create the statements herself. So now we have to figure out, well, what is missing from this case study? What else could we know to help us better figure out this case? So I'd like to know what other roles do the members of the Vision Committee have throughout the community. Small communities, people tend to be involved in a lot, and so maybe the people of the Vision Committee represent more stakeholders than is originally seen. Like, what churches do they belong to? What do their spouses do for a living? What outside activities are they involved in? And knowing that, we might know if the committee represents all the stakeholders already. And then place, I would like to know what outside values and ideas could be collected to help form the statements from the people in the community. I'd also like to know, has there already been or will there be any public forums throughout the community to allow the community members to input, what they like, what they don't like, because, their ideas could change things. Maybe the committee members didn't think of something. And hearing from outside community members could make sure that all opinions are being heard. And then more missing facts for programs. What I'd like to know what tools are available to the district to communicate with members of the community. Like, how can they let the community know that, hey, we're working on creating the vision and mission statements, and we'd like to have your input or your thoughts. What modes could they do that? I think it'd also be good to know what extracurricular activities are going to be available to the junior high students and at what ages. In the case study, it talked about the junior high would be 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. I know some junior highs allow their 6th graders to participate in sports and others don't. And other than sports, what kind of other stuff are they going to have? Knowing that, it's also going to affect the statements, because having students involved in these programs can help create more well-rounded students. There are 2 other schools in the district, the high school and the grade school, so I'd like to know what their vision and mission statements are, because that might be a good guide to help create the statements for the junior high. Why is it important to identify missing information? You want to do that so that you want to get all of the information so that you can create a well-rounded and unique vision and mission statements that are there to meet the needs of the students in this particular community and school. So review and prioritize the information. So junior high, so we have a junior high and a new junior high and a growing rural farm community. We have an influential board member, Helen's brother. He was big on getting the new school passed. He believes that the principal is the best person to create the vision and mission statements on her own, based on because he thinks that she's got enough experience to do that. The new principal, however, is from a bigger community, which means, what she knows from her last school, those values might not be the same as in this rural community. So she's afraid that she's going to misrepresent the values of her new community. Because of that, she wants help from the vision committee in creating the statements. The vision committee has ultimately agreed through a vote with the school board member that the new principal should create the statements. They also said that after she made them, they would let her know if there's something that they didn't like or that needed to be changed, and then they would help her get it approved by the board. So my capacity to lead. So I put myself in in a similar situation. What would happen if I were in this situation? So from this class, I understand that having collaboration with staff in the district, along with members of the community, that's going to help me as an outsider or a new person in the community learn the needs and values that are important in this community. And then knowing those things, along with my own personal morals and ethics, I should be able to lead by example. I can show visionary leadership skills by modeling norms along with decision-making steps. So maybe had Mrs. Potter lay down her norms for the meeting before the vote was taken, maybe something different could have happened there. I will model and describe the professional norms or expectations for the committee. So as we learned earlier in the class, creating those norms for group work helps create more balance among the members. And then when I'm discussing the needs for the vision statement, I'm going to make sure that everything we talk about, all decisions that are made are going to be ethical. And then I understand that the committee, and the community members are going to need to evaluate and reflect on the vision and mission statements for years to come. So maybe at the beginning of each school year and at the end of each school year, maybe they need to be tweaked each time, but we want to make sure that those statements are growing with the needs of the school. So then my plan of action, what would I do if I were in Mrs. Potter's shoes? So first of all, before the next committee meeting, I would want to find out the best way for me to communicate with the members of the community. I would want them to fill out a survey to explain what their values are for the school and the community. With the survey, I would have guiding questions that would address data use, technology, equity, diversity, digital citizenship, and the community involvement. I would want them to rate those as to how important they are. I'd include a comment section by each so that the person can explain why they ranked each one there. And then there would also be an open comment section to address any other things, any other values that they have. And I would for sure want to have the students fill out this survey. However, I might need to create a separate survey tailored to the reading levels of the students. After the surveys are done, I would gather the information and create charts to show how the community values those core set of values. And I would have that prepared before the next committee meeting. Then again, before the next meeting, I would meet with the school board member that is Helen's brother. And I would talk to him directly about my concerns about not being able to make a vision and mission statement for this particular school without input from the committee members and other stakeholders. I would explain that I think that because of my schooling and experience as a vice principal, that I have the knowledge, that he should trust me to have the knowledge needed to decide what steps need to be taken to create the statements. I would also tell him, hey, if you really think I can do this correctly, I'm just going to tell you that the best I can do is create a vision and mission statement that's very generic. but the school's going to benefit most from the statements that are made specifically for this school with input from the stakeholders. Hopefully, by talking to him directly, I would be able to show him why it's important for the committee to help me create these statements. Yeah. And then after that, at the next vision committee meeting, I would explain again to the group why the input from the stakeholders is needed to help create unique statements that are made specifically for this school. And not only just me talking, I would show the data and research on how to create effective statements. And then I could start the conversation by giving examples of what I think should be included in the statements, but reiterate that I don't possess all the knowledge needed throughout the community to create the statements on my own. Hopefully that would open up dialogue amongst the committee members. Then I would have the members look at the data from the surveys, and we could discuss that, like how those values are valued amongst the community. And then I would ask for their opinions on how we think we can develop those values in the students. This could get another discussion opened up to show that, hey, you guys are capable of helping me create this statement as a team. So my hope would be to get the committee to see that the statements need to be created by a team, not just by me, because that would be the best way to promote the success and the well-being of all the students and staff members. So evaluate and assess. I demonstrated my ability to evaluate, collaborate, develop, and communicate a school vision and mission. By one, I was surveying the community members on their values and priorities for the outcome of the junior high students. Then using that information to discuss with the committee what the statement should include. And then after the statements are created, the statements will be communicated with the community so that the committee can hear their thoughts. Are we missing anything? That type of thing. And then with that new information, the committee can then reflect on the statement and make any necessary changes. I demonstrated my capacity to lead by discussing my concerns with the appropriate people, collecting the necessary information, collaborating to design the statements, and leading by example to help implement the statements. As a new person in the community and at the school, I will constantly be evaluating my thoughts and beliefs while I transition into my new role in the new community. That way I can make sure that I am effectively leading by example. And then pros and cons for my plan on what I would do. So the pros would be diverse viewpoints and values would be represented in the statements. The statements would be based on the values of the members in the community and the stakeholders. I would hopefully be resolving the problem at hand. And then another pro would be being a leader by sharing my knowledge and guiding the group in the right direction while still working with the group. Cons would be I would have to create the survey, implement it, and then evaluate and summarize the results all on my own. A big concern would be that I might upset the board member by going and talking to him and not just doing exactly what he wants. And then I might also get some resistance from the committee members by not just conceding with what they agreed on. So development action steps were specifically written to achieve the goal of creating the vision and mission statements tailored to the needs of the students. How will this plan be implemented? So again, all students and adults will be consulted in the survey. The current and future success and well-being of all the students and and adults is going to be promoted by allowing everyone to have a voice and using that to tailor the statements. Hopefully, a more tailored statements will help motivate all the members of the districts to be successful. The plan demonstrates my knowledge, skills, and commitments necessary by, first of all, understanding why it's important to have the stakeholders involved in the process. 2, I would have the skills necessary to have an uncomfortable conversation with the board member to explain this understanding. 3, I would be committed to get the committee to buy into this understanding by sharing my knowledge, and not just telling them, but also by showing them with data and research. I would evaluate the information from the surveys to hopefully use that to create successful statements. And then I would put all of the knowledge, information, values, and everything into developing the statements. So the plan includes data use through the survey. That would be the data that I would collect to create a unique statement, or the technology would be used for collecting the data. I would show equity by surveying all the community members and giving them equal opportunities to express their thoughts by holding by letting the community express what they think after the statements have been developed. I'm showing diversity by ensuring that the survey reaches all different members of the community. Digital citizenship would be shown by making sure that the surveys are anonymous so that people can speak their truths. And I'm representing the community by making sure that all of their values of the different members are represented in the statements. So program standards, standard integration statements. So correlation to PLO 1 mission and vision improvement. That's correlated by promoting the current and future success and well-being of the students and adults. I would do this by working to apply my knowledge that we've learned through this course of how to create a successful vision and mission statement. To do that, I would be collecting data from the community and then collaborating with a team of stakeholders to create successful statements and visions for continuous improvement. A core set of values will be discovered through the survey. And we're going to make sure that those values are implemented in the statements, which include data use, technology, equity, diversity, digital citizenship, and community. So how is this relevant to my current learning? Well, it's relevant because I had to apply the knowledge I've gained through this course and apply it to a real life scenario. It will impact what I currently do as an educator because I'm going to be more willing to listen to and accept the processes that the administration want me to implement, because ultimately everybody does want what is best for the students. And how will this impact my future as a building principal? It's going to impact my future by making sure that I put the needs of the district first, even if that means having uncomfortable conversations. I will also make sure to always collect the necessary data, especially in new scenarios where I'm not familiar with everything, so that I can best see the overall picture for everything involved. So answers to the questions. It's important to develop and implement a vision and goals so that everyone in the school understands and knows the goals that are to be achieved. This is a way to get the staff, students, parents, and community members on the same page. So what is a visionary leader? A visionary leader is someone that works to make the vision a reality by setting clear goals. Setting a plan for achieving the goals, and then making sure that everybody involved has the knowledge, skills, and equipment necessary to reach those goals. The basis for this is a good principal that wants his or her school to reach certain goals, and the principal will then make sure that the teachers and staff understand the goals and that they have the education necessary to teach and implement the goals with the students. And then the principal also needs to make sure that the school is equipped with the necessary tools to reach the goals. All while guiding and giving support along with praise and encouragement to everyone working towards the goals. So more answers. What's the relationship between the mission and vision statements? The vision statement is the overall goal, and then the mission statement includes like the steps that need to be taken to reach the goal. And the question was there too much emphasis being placed on the development of a vision statement prior to the school opening? I did not think there was too much emphasis, I did not think there was too much emphasis because it's important to make sure that all the members of the new school understand the goal they are working towards. An alternative method to developing the statements would be to have a committee that represents all the stakeholders and not just teachers and parents. That would include administration, teachers, students, parents, board members, and other members of the community, and having them work together to create the statements. The question was, is it typical for communities to rely on administration to make important decisions? I don't think that that's typical. Most communities, especially in small towns, they want to be involved in the decision-making process. More answers. What would be the advantages of the principal following the wishes of the committee regarding how the vision and mission statement should be created? The advantage of her just doing what they said would make the members feel like the principal is working for them, and that it'll make them feel like she's doing what she needs to do to support the staff. Disadvantages to her just doing what the members had voted on would be the principal is losing respect by not sticking her ground. And that's not in all cases. You know, if it were, well, I just want it this way just because, that probably wouldn't work. But the fact that the principal has the education and knowledge and research to back up her thinking, by her not sticking her ground, she's going to lose respect. And then another disadvantage is that the committee members, they are not valuing the new principal's expertise in this situation. All those two things together can set the precedent that the staff thinks that they know better than the principal. What were the types of data that you can use to create a school's vision and goals? Things that you would need to look at would be the assessment data, technology use, also what kind of technology, new technology would the budget of the school allow, financial status of the families in the community, home life of the students, extracurricular activities that are offered or that will be offered, and the percentage of participation, religions in the community, after high school success from the past district graduates, the community values and ethics, and the school weaknesses. By knowing those things, you can really work towards setting a goal that's making improvements. And then, why is data necessary when planning to implement the vision and goals? Because you want to use that data to tailor the statements to fit the community expectations along with the needs of the students. Without the data, the statements would be exactly the same for all different kinds of schools and all different types of communities. Why would it be important for a school leader to poll key stakeholders about the purpose of education when developing vision and goals? It's important to do that so that everyone's ideas are heard and considered so that nothing is missed and left out. Why is it necessary to involve others in developing and implementing the vision and goals? You want to do this to make sure that all stakeholders are representing their values and goals from different members of the community so that, again, nothing is missed or left out. How can school community members learn more about the importance of having a school vision and goals? I think, first of all, it would be important for them to learn and understand what the vision and mission statements are. Like the vision is the goal, and then the mission is the steps to achieve it. It would be good for them to look at other schools' visions and goals and see how these set them apart from other schools and how it can drive the schools towards success. And that is the end of the case study. Thank you.